Hello, it's a lovely good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television News, all those watching across Zambia and around the world. My name is Jeffrey. Our top stories in the news tonight: former Religious Affairs Minister GOFRIDAH SUMAILI challenges government to enforce laws on LGBTQI. NAQEZ backs ACC'S intention to audit all grade 12 certificates in Zambia. Chain stores begin reducing prices of commodities amid KWACHA stability. In international news, Peru's President Pedro Castillo in court over criminal charges. And in sports news, Copa Queens dominate 2022 HOLLYWOODBETS COSAFA Women's Championship.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Another news in detail. A suspected illegal construction of boarding houses is currently taking place between PERU'S and Church Roads in Lusaka, a few meters away from the Bombay storm drainage. A check by Camnet News at the site after a tip-off from members of the public found workers safeguarding the place with a wall fence built on part of the Bombay drainage, only identifying its owner as Mr. Muhammad, whom they say is currently not in Lusaka city. Meanwhile, Zambia Land Alliance Executive Director Patrick Musole says there is need to strengthen the land governance system in Zambia, stating that the trend of demolishing illegal structures is not helping the country, as some sewer systems may have already compromised the land where those constructions were made. More in this report.
The Bombay drainage in Lusaka is one of the major storm drains that was constructed to partly solve the problem of overflooding in the country's capital during the rain season. The drainage tends to overflow during heavy rainfall, posing a danger of drowning for those who may find themselves near this place at such a time. Active construction of boarding houses is, however, taking place a few meters from the drainage between Church Road and PERU'S roads in Lusaka, a situation which caught the attention of concerned citizens who alerted Camnet News. A check inside the premises also revealed that some property owners have begun expanding the property close to the drainage. While caretakers found at the site claim that the land is owned by a man only identified as Mr. Mohammed, whom the claim has title, the Lusaka City Council, through the Department of City Planning, has promised to investigate the happenings. Meanwhile, Zambia Land Alliance Executive Director Patrick Musole says the land governance system in Zambia is weak, which means that there is no well-established mechanism in place to monitor land illegalities.
I think it will help everyone if they are proactive rather than being reactive, as the case has been. So I would like to urge the councils to be proactive. We also want to strengthen land governance guidelines so that we strengthen punishment for people who do those things. Demolishing is one thing, and things that are clearly done with impunity should be demolished. We can't defend illegalities, but we need to strengthen the overall land governance system to prevent such illegalities, because they have an impact on so many things. They have an impact on water and sanitation when people build over water and sewerage infrastructure. We have an impact on electrical power infrastructure when people build under power, but also they compromise people's safety.
Land has remained a highly controversial issue in Zambia, necessitating urgent reforms. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Former Minister of National Guidance and Religious Affairs, GOFRIDAH SUMAILI, has described happenings at the recently held social event known as the Lusaka July as embarrassing, stating that it was characterized by nudity and cross-dressing. In an interview, Reverend SUMAILI has called for implementation of existing laws to bring law and order in the country, stating that Zambia's Christian status is clearly stipulated in the Republican Constitution. Meanwhile, in a separate interview, Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia EFZ Executive Director Bishop Andrew Mwenda has urged the Zambia police to urgently act on the matter. More in this report.
1991 will always remain a memorable year for Zambia, as it is the year in which then Republican President Frederick Chuluba declared it as a Christian nation, meaning that the country is guided by Christian morals.
I likewise submit the government and the entire nation of Zambia to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. Amen. I further declare that Zambia is a Christian nation.
It is in line with the same that indecent exposure and issues pertaining to same-sex relationships are prohibited under the laws of Zambia. Happenings at a recently held social event known as the Lusaka July, which aims at blending the sport of polo and fashion, has caused a lot of talk in the country, with some expressing concern over how men wore female garments and makeup. Others have expressed concern over what they term as high levels of indecent exposure that was exhibited through some costumes, stating that this is corrupting the country's morals. In an interview, former Minister of National Guidance and Religious Affairs under the Patriotic Front, GOFRIDAH SUMAILI, has warned that unless implementation of existing laws is applied aggressively, the country's Christian status may be compromised.
And the first value that is stated is morality and ethics. This is very, very embarrassing. It is shameful and is totally unacceptable to us as a people. And I'm just wondering, where is our government? Where is our government when these things are happening? We know we are a nation of laws. The rule of law should prevail in our nation. We have the laws, but why are we not implementing those laws?
In a separate interview, the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia EFZ, through its Executive Director Bishop Andrew Mwenda, says the onus is on the police to act on the happenings.
The police must have known what was going on. They should have walked in and gone in there and closed it or just stopped it. We need to stop this. However, even as a church, we don't want to be reacting to this thing every now and then, because we believe that we are a nation of laws. The laws of this country do not permit that kind of a thing to take place. No one is permitted to walk in nudity like that in this country. So let's begin to think about it. But if you ask about what's the thoughts of the church says this thing must be banned unless there's a change in the way the organizers will have to organize it.
They have stated that safeguarding the country's morals is paramount to keeping the society away from moral decay. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, the Council of Churches in Zambia, CCZ, says activities that violate the morals of the country must not be entertained. CCZ General Secretary Father Emmanuel Chikoya says the recent happenings at the Lusaka July Festival that has attracted social media attention must be condemned in the strongest terms possible. Father Chikoya says the future of the country largely depends on the values imparted on the youth, who are believed to be the future generation. He has since called on government and members of the public to uphold the value of the nation.
In view of the recent happenings in the country, particularly the July Festival that has attracted social media attention and cross-examinations of different stakeholders in the country because of the un-Zambian acts that were portrayed at the event. The future of this country largely depends on the values we impart on the youths, who are believed to be the future generation. These values are essential in whatever stage of life we are in, and most adults have the values that were instilled during childhood, and these form fundamentals in one's life. The nation must understand that moral values give room for decisions in life, and without these values, children's lives may be directionless. Our call as CCZ is that parents and caregivers should imbibe strong moral values in children that will give them good moral standing in the society. The Council believes the Church has a huge responsibility to provide moral knowledge to our children and the community at large.
The Zambia Youth Association in the fight against corruption has tasked investigative wings in the country to act on the Auditor General's report without waiting for instructions from the politicians to take action. Association Executive Director Malindi Kaima says his organization is struck by the revelations from the Auditor General's office that ghost workers siphoned and defrauded the government of Zambia monies amounting to 7.7 million kwacha between 2017 and 2021. Meanwhile, the National Action for Quality Education in Zambia, NAQEZ, has supported the intention by the Anti-Corruption Commission to audit all grade 12 certificates for all college and university students and graduates across the country. NAQEZ Executive Director Aaron Chansa says the move will serve as a deterrent to those who may have plans to fake their qualifications. More in this report.
Revelations by the Auditor General's office that government was paying over 9,800 ghost workers from 2017 to 2021, which resulted in government losing revenue of up to 7.7 million kwacha, has attracted reactions from different stakeholders. Zambia Youth Association in the fight against corruption says it is struck by the revelation and has called on the relevant investigative bodies in the country to take action without having to wait on the politicians to force them to take action. Association Executive Director Malindi Kaima has since called for the amendment of the Finance Act of 2004 to give power to the law enforcement agencies to immediately arrest anyone cited in the Auditor General's office for embezzlement and abuse of public funds.
To look closely into the Financial Act of 2004. We would like it to be amended so that it gives powers to the law enforcement agencies to summon a person who appears opaque, to summon a person who has appeared in the Auditor General's report for misappropriating funds. They should not wait for the voice of a politician to instruct them. We would like to urge all the Zambians to be interested in what is going on in Zambia today.
Meanwhile, the Anti-Corruption Commission has also reacted to the report and has assured that it will conduct an audit on all grade 12 certificates for all college and university students and graduates across the country. The move has been welcomed by the National Action for Quality Education in Zambia, NAQEZ, who says this will deter those with plans to forge their academic qualifications.
We are aware that some of our students could have faked their papers, and this is an opportune time for the SCC action to swing into action and make sure that those with fake papers are fished out of our education system. We can't allow those with fake papers to actually continue in our universities and colleges, and this is going to serve as a deterrent to those who would want to come and fake their papers in our systems.
The country now awaits to see how those responsible for such acts will be dealt with. PERU'S reporting for Camnet TV News.
Democratic Party office bearer Judith Kabemba has challenged politicians to stop displaying double standards in offering criticism to the UPND administration. Ms. Kabemba says when she and other party officials were wrongly detained without charge in the Patriotic Front administration, politicians were busy celebrating their arrests on the basis that they broke the law for simply criticizing the former administration. Ms. Kabemba says Mr. Sean Tembo deserved to be arrested, adding that he publicly insulted women and that all Welmians must condemn his utterances and not President Hakainde Hichilema. She says the law is clear and does not segregate adding that those who publicly break the law should be publicly tried.
Wrong is a wrong, whether committed by the PF or committed by the UPND, it is a wrong. I did mention that I was arrested together with a number of old women and old men who had different ailments, and the others were actually assaulted that day, and nobody cared. Nobody cared to say these people have got different ailments. Everyone was quiet. When we said that arrest was instigated by former Republican President Edgar Lungu, the PF stood up and they said, no, it was not President Lungu who arrested you people, because President Lungu is not responsible for arrests. So how is it different today? If President Lungu was not responsible for arrests those days, how is President Hakainde Hichilema responsible for arrests today? How? Why are we acting with a double standard? Why are we looking at wrongs with double lenses? This is hypocrisy of the highest order. And that's why I said those who were in the PF and they watched people being brutalized, they watched people being arrested with no offenses, they should keep quiet. Morality demands that they keep quiet.
Chain stores have begun reducing prices of the commodities in response to the performance of the kwacha and the reduction of inflation to a single digit. A check at one of the chain stores found the prices of goods reduced by 7 to 12%. Some consumers interviewed by Camnet Business News are happy that the gesture will help to enhance their buying power. Meanwhile, Ministry of Information and Media Director spokesperson Thabo Kawana has told Camnet News that the government will continue to stabilize the economy to benefit both consumers and the business community. Mr. Kawana says it is important that businesses respond to what he referred to as conducive business environment by passing on the benefits to the citizens. More in this report.
They say what goes up must come down, but when it comes to prices of commodities, it has not been the case, as commodity prices have been on an upward trajectory beyond the reach of many Zambians. But this narrative is being rewritten as Zambians are becoming more aware of their consumer rights. Notably, the Zambian kwacha experienced stability in terms of exchange rate against the United States dollar and other major convertible currencies, thus slowly pushing the prices of goods and services downwards. The kwacha appreciated on account of continued interventions by the central bank, by the Bank of Zambia, and the positive market sentiments regarding national debt relief structuring. Shoprite is one of the chain stores operating in Zambia, which assured to engage suppliers to reduce prices of commodities to pass on the benefits to consumers. And 9th September 2022, the chain store reduced prices on some commodities between 7 to 12%. For instance, a 5-liter cooking oil has been reduced from 289 kwacha to 229 kwacha. Sugar has been reduced from 49 kwacha 99 ngwe to 39 kwacha 99 ngwe, while a 25-kilogram bag of breakfast meal has been reduced from 156 kwacha 99 ngwe to 136 kwacha 99 ngwe, among other commodities. This has excited consumers who are hoping that prices of commodities will continue to fall in order to increase their buying power.
My word to government is that let it continue growing stronger, because people have a lot of money to buy a lot of all the things that they want. Yes.
It'll be very good for everyone. It's taken a while for prices to come down, and I'm also hoping there's a lot more Zambian products in the marketplace, places like Shoprite, because we import too much and we have a lot of products like these ones ourselves, vegetables, etc. So I'm hoping it makes a difference to everyone.
Shoprite Chain Stores General Manager Charles Bota says prices will continue to fall as they persist on engaging the suppliers.
So we called the 11 suppliers and said, you've benefited, give us reduction in pricing depending on what it is that you're getting. Fortunately, none of them said no, because the facts are there, the economics are there to prove it. And we received items now. The time that we first started was about 800. Now we're about 1,200 lines that we reduced. And we reduced anything from 7.5% in terms of reduction of receipt from suppliers to 12.5%. We are still talking because obviously the economy continues to change. So that's the reason.
And Ministry of Information and Media Director spokesperson Tabo Kawana says the government will continue to work on economic fundamentals for businesses to thrive while safeguarding the plight of consumers.
You have seen that we have had a reduction in fuel back-to-back price. So this results in lowering the cost of doing business. And the business community is beginning to respond. The market always responds to what government is doing. So because government is implementing good policies, the market is responding by passing on lower prices to the consumers out there. At the end of the day, the people are benefiting. Government will not involve itself in price setting, or as it were in the past where the government was the one to determine what prices to be put on goods. Government will not involve itself in that, but government will continue to work hard and also continue to ask the private sector to respond and pass on the benefits to the people. I think you have seen mini meals coming down, you've seen sugar is coming down, you've seen even beef is coming down.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, Paul Kaboswe, has rubbished assertions suggesting that government plans to place Mopani copper mines under care and maintenance. In an interview Tuesday afternoon, Mr. Kaboswe says there is no need to panic as the government is still in negotiations with a mining giant and that no such conclusions have been reached so far. He has re-echoed government's interest towards the citizens and hopes for a fruitful conclusion with the Mopani copper mines investors.
We like to dispel the rumors that are going on that Mopani is about to go on care and maintenance. That is very, very far from the truth. Mopani is nowhere near going into care and maintenance. Mopani, like I have said in my previous interviews, that we are on the verge of resolving the issues around both Mopani and KCM. But like I said, government will only announce when we've done everything and all the documents are signed around anything that we are doing with the assets. So please, I don't want our people on the Copper Belt and Zambia in general, there shouldn't be reason to panic. Do not panic. Mopani and KCM, the solution is on the horizon very, very soon. We know that we have said this for a long time, but it's important to dispel rumors. Rumors are not good to say Mopani is going on care and maintenance because that will send panic, with the members of the public. So in the same vein, the Ministry of Mines is very excited about the IMF deal. We want to congratulate the Minister of Finance and His Excellency the President and indeed the whole government.
Government has underscored the importance that midwives play in ensuring the safety of mothers and newborns. Speaking at a training workshop for midwives in Lusaka Tuesday, Minister of Health Permanent Secretary Dr. Lacson Kasonka says Zambia currently stands at 1 midwife per 1,000 population, which he says has a long way to go, hence having such collaborative trainings for midwives. He notes that research has revealed that if a country has more trained midwives, maternal and neonatal fatalities are significantly reduced. And Midwives Association of Zambia President Sarah Ngoma is grateful to the partners that have come on board to capacitate midwives, who she says will see a reduction in maternal deaths. More in this report.
Zambia has made significant improvement in the past 2 decades to reducing maternal and newborn health outcome fatalities. The maternal mortality rate dropped nearly 300% in 16 years, from 729 days for every 100,000 live births in 2002 to 278 deaths per 100,000 births in 2018. This development has been made possible due to having skilled midwives in the health sector. In order to continue on this trajectory, the Midwives Association of Zambia and its partners held a training workshop for midwives aimed at building capacity to these caregivers for better outcomes.
Midwifery is a primary, is one of the primary health provision in this country. We are losing every day, the babies that we are losing every day. Only when we have this concerted effort, only when we have projects like MSF, are we going to see a reduction in these preventable deaths. We are here to save lives. We are here to save lives.
Officiating at the event, Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Dr. Lakson Kasonka notes that currently the statistics stand at 1 midwife to 1,000 patients, which he says shows that more needs to be done.
Unfortunately, in many underserviced communities which have high maternal and neonatal deaths, there are significant gaps in the number of midwives. While Zambia stands at 1 midwife per 1,000 population, the World Health Organization, WHO, recommends at least 4.2 midwives per 1,000 population. So you can see that we still have work to do. We still have a lot of catching up to do. And those efforts are being demonstrated by the new government and recently in the effort to recruit health workers in order to mitigate that gap.
The Permanent Secretary, however, has acknowledged that progress has been recorded in the past years in ensuring the safety of both the newborn and mothers.
Over the last 2 decades, our country has achieved a steady reduction in the maternal mortality ratios, which currently stand at 252 deaths per 100,000 live births. What has been crucial in this achievement is the availability of skilled midwifery personnel. The number of births assisted by a skilled attendant increased over the same period from 42% in 2002 to 80% in the year 2018. Research, ladies and gentlemen, has revealed that when midwives are well trained and they are adequate in numbers and they are appropriately supported to provide better quality of care, they can avert about 2/3 of preventable maternal and newborn deaths.
Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Msanzala area member of parliament Elias Daka has called on village head persons in Lusangazi district of Eastern Province to sensitize their subjects on the importance of the census of population and housing exercise. Mr. Daka notes with sadness that some enumerators are being chased and denied access to collect information from their subjects, something he describes as unfortunate. He urged headmen to take keen interest in sensitizing their subjects on the importance of the census exercise, encouraging people in the area to feel free to give information to the enumerators. Mr. Daka said it is by law for every Zambian to be counted, and the enumerators are doing a great job of following people in their respective villages. Meanwhile, Lusangazi District Commissioner Mike Tembo has confirmed receiving reports of enumerators being chased and being suspected to be Satanists and gassers. Mr. Tembo said sensitization has been carried out to all communities and the situation has been normalized.
aba bantu bashobora kuboma ndiposo bali mu program yopenda bantu kakirengero cy'abantu mu wajya nayo kweli kuti boma ikali nayo namba muri bantu bangati mu kwini wanje zameka kwini so that even as they are bringing development, as we are trying to develop the area, tizi okutoke boho kapena nimsewa vile tupeleka kuli bantu bangati.
But we want to assure the nation that we've since spoken to the to our communities. We've done the sensitization, and that is now a thing of the past. Our workers, our enumerators are working freely, and we have really done the sensitization.
Issues of gassing previously, and then they are thinking we are the team or we are the people who are doing the gassing in areas of the country. And then there's also the issue of like we are Satanists or we are doing the issue of Satanism.
They said, no, why are you collecting this information? Because you want to use it for Satanism purposes. And we said, no, this information is going to be used for developmental planning.
Tunaona kuti mwina chiphunzitso kwa anthu sichinafike mokwanira, nchifukwa chake mwina wena sadzapereka bwinobwino ndondomeko za zomwe iwo afuna kupereka kwa munthu amene wabwera kukawafunsa za ndondomeko amene iwo alufuna kuti adziwe pa nkhani ya sensa.
Government has released 249,000 kwacha to rehabilitate Mukonda Primary School, which was blown off in 2020, whose roof was blown off in 2021 in Petauke district of Eastern Province. Petauke District Commissioner Martha Mulenga confirmed the development when she inspected the deplorable 1x2 classroom block. Ms. Mulenga says government is in a hurry to bring development closer to the people. The district commissioner says it is unfortunate to see pupils learning in an unconducive environment. The DC wonders why it has taken 2 years to rehabilitate the classroom block and that innocent pupils were being punished for the failure of leadership on those trusted to reduce problems the people are going through. And the Petauke District Education Standards Officer has expressed gratitude over the development, adding that once the school is worked on, it will both motivate the teachers and the learners.
At Mukonda Primary School, we came to inspect the school after receiving a funding from government worth it 249,000, which will maintain a 1x2 classroom block. And I think pupils were being discouraged to come to school because of the state of the classrooms. And when we work on this thing won't be anymore there. And I'm happy that as government we've even given this school 5 new teachers, which will increase even the pass rate. The last pass rate for the grade 9s in 2021 was at 52%, meaning this year the pass rate will increase because they've even received secondary school teachers. The roof was blown off in 2 years ago. This is why government has given us the funding that the school is worked on.
The DEB's office, we are very delighted to hear the news that government has given us 249,000 to rehabilitate or work on the 1x2 classroom block that was blown off 2 years ago. So this will be a great move in the right direction, especially at a time like this.
Very grateful that government has supported us by funding so that we rehabilitate the 1x2 classroom block which was blown off 2 years ago.
Okondwera pakuti maboya kuno kuti mtikonzereko ma school ma block yaviri ayana onongeka. Nokondwera maningi futi potibwesera ma teacher yambiri kozi kairi madezi yako mbuyo kuti stenzo punzira mushe tewana school kamba kochepa kwa ma teachers.
You're watching Camnet Television News. We'll take our first break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
It's census time. The 2022 Census of Population and Housing will be conducted from 18th August to 14th September 2022. The census collects a lot of data for use in various aspects of social and economic planning for the country. We are all required to participate in the census by being counted. You will be counted from your usual dwelling place by a census enumerator. Please receive and cooperate with the census enumerator and provide the required information when you will be visited. Your responses to the census questions will be treated with strict confidentiality and will be used for statistical purposes only.
Hi, I'm coming to count you.
Because everyone counts! This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency with support from the UNFPA.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. The family of late former grade 8 pupil Frank Mugala, who was shot dead by police in 2020 during the gassing incident, have sued the state before the Lusaka High Court, demanding a refund of funeral expenses to the sum of 170,000 kwacha, among other claims. According to a statement of claim filed before court, Lloyd Mugala, who has sued in his capacity as administrator of Frank's estate, also wants the court to order the Attorney General and the Inspector General of Police to arrest and prosecute those who were involved in the murder of the deceased. On the 13th of February 2020, 13-year-old Frank Mugala was shot by officers when residents ran amok in protests against gassing incidents which rocked the country. More in this report.
Close to 3 years since 13-year-old Frank Mugala, a former grade 8 pupil at Chazanga Primary School, was shot dead by a police officer. His family investigation officer caused the death of 13-year-old Frank Mugala and ordered that a copy of his verdict be handed to Lusaka Province Commissioner of Police, Lakson Sakala, for further actions against the culprits. However, according to a statement of claim filed by the family before court, they state that despite the court giving its verdict, no step has been taken to either discipline or arrest and prosecute the perpetrators for the murder of their relative. Lloyd Mugala, who is suing in his capacity as administrator of the estate, has cited the Attorney General, Inspector General of Police, officer in charge at Emersdale Police Station, Kapila, and Emersdale Police Station Inspector Mubita as respondents in the case respectively. Mr. Lloyd Mugala has submitted that officer in charge at Emersdale Police Station, Kapila, and Emersdale Police Station Inspector Mubita were involved in the shooting of Frank Mugala, and no action has been taken against them despite the court finding. The family, among other claims, wants the court to order the Attorney General and the Inspector General of Police order for the arrest and prosecution of the officers who murdered the deceased. Miriam Kaipa, reporting for Camnet TV News.
3 fishermen accused of causing the death of 6 Seventh-day Adventist youths earlier this year at Lake Kariba have refuted the said allegations before the Lusaka High Court Tuesday afternoon when they opened their defense. This is in a matter in which coxswain Jonathan Hajaya, Osborne Mambo, and Tyson Hachiyako are facing a charge of manslaughter. The 3 have told Judge Kenneth Mulife that they did not cause the death of the 6 victims who drowned on Lake Kariba after they allegedly jumped off the fishing rig which Hajaya was in charge of. More in this report.
They now wait for the court's judgment after they closed their defense Tuesday afternoon. Jonathan Hajaya, Osborne Mambo, and Tyson Hajigayo are facing a charge of manslaughter. They have been accused of causing the death of 6 Seventh-day Adventist youths who drowned on the Lake Kariba earlier this year. Opening their defense before Lusaka High Court Judge Kenneth Mulife, Jonathan Hajaya, a fisherman, refuted allegations leveled against him by the state that he is among the accused who caused the death of the 6 youths. The accused in his testimony explained that on the material day he found more than 30 youths and the coxswain who were busy doing somersaults. However, since he wanted to go fishing with 2 other accused persons, he advised the youths to leave, adding that when he left, he ensured that all the youths had gone, but to his shock, he later received a call where he was informed that among the youths, 7 were missing. Mr. Hajaya testified that he did not bother to return because he was certain that all the youths left. Osborne Mambo and Tyson Hajagayo have also given the same defense. On the 1st of January 2022, 6 STA members drowned on Lake Kariba after they allegedly jumped off the fishing rig which Hajaya was in charge of. The 6 are Goodson Hamaihila, Rodwell Chileshe, Ronald Luwuku, Zebra Chikambo, Niza Muchiriba, and Alan Mwanga of Lusaka. One of the witnesses, Collins Chileshe, 21, whose elder brother Rodwell was among the 6 victims who drowned, had earlier testified before court that the coxswain of a fishing rig continued to sail into the deep waters of Lake Kariba despite people panicking and jumping off, stating that the accused did not inform him and the other youths where they were heading to, hence causing the panic. The matter comes up on the 14th of October 2022 for judgment. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A senior lecturer with blindness at David Livingstone College of Education, Dalis, has called on President Hakainde Hichilema to also address issues relating to persons with disabilities as he opens the 2nd session of the 13th National Assembly on Friday, the 9th of September 2022. In an interview, Mr. Mulenga notes that persons with disabilities have been eager to know their plight, how their plight will be addressed, stating that this aspect has been lacking in most presidential parliamentary speeches when opening Parliament. He notes that access to equal employment opportunities is still one of the issues his community is struggling with, hence the need to know how these people will be helped. President Hakainde Hichilema is on Friday, the 9th of September 2022, expected to officially open the 2nd session of the 13th National Assembly.
We are calling the President in his parliamentary speech this coming Friday that he should address issues that are affecting all of us persons with disability. For example, you have discovered that all the persons going to school are disabled from grade 1 up to grade 12. They are not enjoying free education. They are paying boarding fee in their various schools where they are coming from. We are also calling upon the President that they should remove the tax or waive the payment duties on all the special duties, all the special equipment that persons with disability are using in this country. It's too expensive to order a wheelchair in this country. The third thing, we are also calling upon the President to address the issue of employment. A lot of persons with disability are not employed as expected. And apart from that, even where we are working from, it's rare for persons with disability to be promoted as compared to our ordinary friends. The other thing, we are calling upon the President to address the issue that affect persons with disability, especially something that has to do with tax payment. We have been suffering in terms of how the government is taking us. For instance, when it comes to get a land, we are having a lot of challenges. We are calling upon the President to come in.
We take another break. We'll be back with the international sports news after the break.
Akamwana kanono nomsepela kuikala chapamo Kuribe kumunzi kuribe mutauni kumatero
The Zambia Statistics Agency will this year conduct the 2021 census across the country. The census aims to count people in households, rural and urban, hospitals, military, police and correctional facilities. This numbering will extend to hotels, farms, as well as high-density areas with different families sharing a house and those in transitory locations. Every person in the country matters and should be counted because the census will benefit all, from migrants, refugees and street children, homeless people, the young and the old people, as well as persons with disabilities. Everyone counts.
This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
And now in international news, Peru's President Pedro Castillo has faced prosecutors in two new criminal investigations. He is the subject of 6 corruption cases since coming to power just over a year ago. The left-wing politician who promised to introduce reforms denies any wrongdoing. His popularity ratings have plunged. In other news, Kenya's Supreme Court on Monday upheld William Ruto's victory in the August 9 presidential election, capping weeks of uncertainty as weary citizens voiced relief of a peaceful conclusion to the prolonged political process. For more in international news, here's a roundup.
Morocco says it supports a two-state solution to end the Palestinian-Israeli conflict by establishing an independent Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital. Moroccan Foreign Minister Nasser Bourita said this on Monday while meeting with his Jordanian counterpart Ayman al-Safadi in Amman. Our positions are the same regarding the Palestinian issue according to Arab references, which is the two-state solution by establishing an independent Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital on the June 1967 borders. We're working together and in coordination with Jordan, as well as with regards to supporting Jerusalemites and preserving the Arab and Islamic identity of Jerusalem. Both foreign ministers also discussed bilateral relations and ways to ease issuing visas between the two countries. Morocco in December 2020 agreed to normalize relations with Israel in a deal brokered with US help.
Kenyans are looking forward to moving on with their lives after the country's top court upheld William Ruto's victory in the August 9 presidential election. To some, it is time for the country to get back to work, and many issues should be handled at this time.
We must move on. We can't live in court for the rest of our lives talking about election. There are other important things in life.
The most important thing is to reduce the cost of living so that we can get food at an affordable price. The president himself should also aim to end corruption. I would like life to move on. We should go back to work because it has been a difficult period to work when the case was actually in the Supreme Court. We would like him to be sworn in so that he gets to work. Ruto will be sworn in on September 13, becoming Kenya's 5th president since independence from Britain in 1963 and taking the reins of a country beset by inflation, high unemployment and crippling drought.
President Pedro Castillo is confident prosecutors won't find any evidence of corruption in the 6 criminal cases against him.
I will go as many times as I am summoned. I have gone to say and demonstrate that I reject all accusations against the President of the Republic.
The president told prosecutors he is innocent, but that's all. His lawyer says he wouldn't answer further questions, a defense strategy used at 2 previous hearings. The corruption case is expanding. On Monday, Attorney General Patricia Benavides named Prime Minister Aníbal Torres and Justice Minister Felix Chero as part of the investigation. The probes have reached Castillo's closest allies and his family. Prosecutors asked the judiciary to ban the First Lady Lilia Paredes from traveling. Her sister Jennifer has been detained for 36 months. One nephew is on the run. Businessmen, mayors and former government officials are also being drawn into the investigation. Opinion polls say President Castillo's support has grown from 25 to nearly 30% since he launched a nationwide campaign saying he and his family are victims of political persecution staged from here, from the public ministry. Castillo supporters say prosecutors are corrupt.
What the prosecutors are doing is unfair. They have no evidence. They have investigated him several times and found nothing.
His critics want him to leave office. A group of nearly 400 young professionals and university students have joined forces around the country to sign up Peruvians to a petition that demands a new general election.
There must be a lot of citizen pressure. We had lost hope, but now we're fed up with the situation because every day there is more and more news of corruption in the government.
The country is divided. Most Peruvians disapprove of Castillo and Congress. With most former presidents detained or under investigation for corruption, Peruvians say they don't see a way out from this political crisis except demanding for every politician to leave and start again. Mariana Sanchez, Al Jazeera, Lima, Peru.
It's now time for sports news. The Copper Queens have continued to dominate the 2022 HOLLYWOODBETS COSAFA Women's Championship, securing a semi-final spot with 3 wins in the group stage. Tuesday, 6th November 2022, the Zambia women's national team silenced Eswatini with 2 unanswered goals through Enele Piri and Barbara Banda. Zambia finished as winner of Group B with 9 points and await the winners of Group C for the semi-final match on Friday, 9th September 2022. Mary Willombe was given the Player of the Match award. Copper Queens won the first game up against Namibia by 2-0 and later beat Lesotho by 7-0.
Continuing to create chances. Here's Banda with the pull across to Pay. Eventually they get the goal they've been so looking for. And a well-taken goal it is. Unselfish play from Banda in the creation of that goal. And Piri, who had tried time and time again, gets the beating of Kadile Zamini. Deserving of the goal there, Endless Piri. First time shots. Yep, beyond the outstretched arms of Kadile Zamini. To Barbara Banda it is. With the well-placed pass then for her strike partner. And, well, they get it right. 2, pass play slightly behind her. She's done well to keep it alive and find the teammates. Oh, Zambia looking for a yard to pull the strike here. Eventually, the shot coming in then is from Chilenga. And is some way off the mark. Operating in the heart of midfield is Chilenga, yeah? She plays for Bauleni United Sport Academy. Chance here again for Zambia, just 2 over the halfway line, so tough one then with Makale just hitting in hope with the forward ball. Well, more supporters now arriving out in that far corner.
Congratulations to the Shpolpol there. To end Camnet Television News, we take a look at stories making headlines once again. Former Religious Affairs Minister GOFRIDAH SUMAILI challenges government to enforce laws on LGBTQI. NAQEZ backs ACC'S intentions to audit all grade 12 certificates in Zambia. Chain stores begin reducing prices of commodities amid KWACHA stability. In international news, Peru's President Pedro Castillo in court over criminal charges. And in sports news, Copper Queens dominate 2022 HOLLYWOODBETS COSAFA Women's Championship. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from John 14, verse 23. Jesus replied, "If anyone loves me, he will obey my teaching. My Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our home with him." Thank you once again for watching the news. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.